technical seminars are an Intertech production. For instructor-led .NET, Java, and XML courses, visit us at www.intertech.com.
So when I actually go use this thing, let's say I go to default.aspx. Nah, that's not the right one. I think we said test.aspx and default.aspx. Okay. Let's go to test and default 3. Here we go. This is default 3, and what I had done here is I dragged and dropped from the Intertech control section. I created my own section right here in the toolbox. Notice my icon showing up. I'm getting a little frog icon. And then in the designer, I dragged and dropped this onto the form, and you notice the register directive. Assembly equals, namespace equals, tag prefix equals Intertech. I can specify what prefix I want. And then down here, you can see the ID, my repeater 1. The text is test data. Text color is medium blue, and text repeat count. These are the 3 properties that I specified back over here. There's text repeat count, here's text color, and this of course is text. And you can also see those in the properties window. So here's that text property, text color, and text repeat count. Now note that I have them sorted alphabetically. If I wanted to sort them by category, note that they're showing up inside of the Intertech category. Finally, note that I can go to the design view and actually see this control. Now if I wanted to throw another one on the form, just drag and drop it right onto the form from the toolbox. And initially you're not going to see anything. That's because you don't have any text set up for that control. So I'll put some data here, like I'll just put my first name in here. And then I'll set text repeat count to 5. There we go. See how 5 of them are showing up? And maybe I want to choose a cool color here. Like medium slate blue. How about medium violet red? There we go. And you can see how they're actually showing up on that particular page then. Changes at design time to 2. And now we should have only 2 of them showing up. Try that again. Oh, I guess I modified that one. I wanted this one to be 2. So let's go ahead and choose my repeater 2. Change this guy to 2. By the way, did you notice down here at the bottom? Allows you to set repeat count. That's the description, right? Back over here, that was the actual description we're setting up. That was the other attribute here. Now, if you understand how to create a custom server control like I just did, and how it actually emits this custom HTML through this render contents method, then you're finally able to go ahead and discuss how do we create our custom AJAX control. All right, that's just taking it to the next level. So I've got my render contents, and you know one thing I didn't do? Hey, view in browser. So I go ahead and view it in the browser. And of course, there I have the custom text showing up, and of course I better view source. And here I can see these 2 different span tags that are being emitted out into the HTML, right? Of course, we know that all those cool properties I created in my custom server control ultimately have to equate to standard HTML and standard CSS styles, because that's what all web browsers understand. If you're emitting out HTML that is specific to a web browser, it's basically useless in the public world domain because everybody's got every different type of browser installed. Now, as you can see down here in the bottom, I've got 2 different versions of IE: Mozilla Firefox, Safari, Opera, Google Chrome, and any other type of browser if I get my hands on it. You know, Flock might be another one you're testing. So this shows us how we can create our own custom server control. But I also had another example, test.aspx. Let me go to this other control that we have here. This one's a custom web server control, but he does something else. This one's called UpdatePanel Animation, and he works with the AJAX update panel so that if some kind of interaction occurs where it makes an update to the server side, it's going to draw a line around that entire update panel box. And it's going to, of course, use CSS to do this. Now, some things that it needs to be aware of is it needs an ID of whatever update panel it's going to be modifying. It's going to need to know what border color to use, and whether or not to even bother doing this animation in the first place. So we have 3 private fields here, and of course 3 public properties just like before: border color, the update panel ID, and whether or not to animate. But also, very important here, on the pre-render event, it actually goes ahead and adds this JavaScript which is going to be sent to the page. Now this is important. This is how we can actually be in a little bit more control. This is how we can add JavaScript which can do our AJAX programming from the client side, if you will. For example, notice that we go ahead and use this find control method to go find our update panel based on whatever ID that we have. Then we build this gigantic string, which we're going to call script. We're using string.format to build it, with all of this JavaScript that's going to run on the client side. We're going to the sys namespace, using the application class and calling add load. Now mind you, sys, that's that root level namespace in the AJAX client side network. This is the JavaScript that Microsoft wrote in their JavaScript libraries. And adding this load of a function, sender and args, border animation, panel element here, and it's adding all of this script that's going to be included with the page when it's sent actually off to the client side. Then we finally register this as a startup script using the script manager control on a given page. Now keep this in mind, if we're going to have a page that has this control on it, it must have the script manager dragged and dropped onto the page first. The script manager will also guarantee that all of the AJAX client-side libraries are downloaded first, and then our custom JavaScript will run. And they'll be downloaded after, of course, the Microsoft AJAX client-side libraries run. Now back over on my website 2, if I go to my Solution Explorer and open up Test, this guy actually takes advantage of that. This guy is actually going to use that custom control called the UpdatePanel Animation with Client Resource. And he's going to go ahead and draw a line around that update panel every time somebody interacts with that update panel. Here's our required script manager, and we have a script reference. We're referencing off the text repeater web control this particular JavaScript file, text repeater web control.updatepanel.animation.js. Again, keep in mind with JavaScript, everything's case sensitive and everything's got to be exact or it's just not going to work. In my update panel, I've got a very simple calendar, a button, and a label control. If any of these are clicked or interacted with and they cause a post back to the server, it's going to go ahead and use this update panel animation because we set animate to true, we set the border color, of course, to medium orchid, and this is the update panel that it's attached to. So if I go ahead and view this in a browser, you'll notice if I just click on a date right within the calendar control that we got that purple line that went around the actual update panel. Maybe I click on the button control and I get the current time. Again, it's doing AJAX to do that, but because of my JavaScript, which I've downloaded and included in the page, it's actually going ahead and running that code on the client side. And if I go ahead and view source, you can see that I've got my standard JavaScript here, which is included with all of our ASP.NET pages. But then I've got all of this stuff here, the script resource, which is referring to the ASP.NET AJAX client-side framework as well, off of website 2. And of course, all these special tags, which ASP.NET is entirely in control of. Got our page request manager, the PRM. He's the unsung hero of all of our AJAX client-side library. He's the one that allows us to subscribe to certain events that happen on the client side. And of course, we can see we're getting an instance of the page request manager and calling update controls of that update panel.
For more free learning resources and to see the latest lineup of our instructor-led .NET, Java, and XML courses, visit us at www.intertech.com.